are, Joshua. I wish you were in class with us. He's supposed to be back next Monday, so that'll be good. Hopefully we're going to speak up enough that you can hear us in class. We're all dressed interesting today. If you don't remember, today is our day we're dressing up for the letter L. I don't know where Mr. McDonald came up with that letter. Everybody keeps asking me, what are you, Miss Morrison? I said, I'm a lady of leisure. I even have my little fan that I walk around with. So, lady of leisure doesn't have to do anything, but I'm teaching today. So anyway, we are fixing to go over our quiz. I know I just sent you your grade, but hopefully you can have it out in front of you and look over it as we go through it to see if anybody has any questions. And I'll make sure to cover anything that didn't get answered that you might have, I hope. Or you can email me later and I'll answer those questions for you. Okay. Anybody have any questions over 1 through 15? I know I wrote the answer on there for you, but number 14, if you ever have questions when you're taking something, if you see something in parentheses like this one, it said type. The reason I put type there is because we have two different words that mean to play, and I want you to tell me which type was this one. And so you should have written game. If you didn't write game, then I just took off half points. They're each worth 4, so you lost 2 points there. Okay. What about the other page? Anybody have questions about the back of the other page? Danielle?
Did you take off for 21 when I did that?
Yes. If you also did that on number 20, if you didn't write instrument beside it, then you got 2 points off for that.
I just spelled it wrong, I think.
Let me see.
I don't know if you took off points for it.
Well, that's because you didn't do it correctly. If you were going to do 10,
Answer.
8, and 12, then you would have to put the word and there. This one? Yeah, I didn't take anything off. You just got your letters all kind of mixed up. Okay. Number 20, you're supposed to say instrument. And then on 24, there might have been some confusion, but I think all of y'all pretty much got that. On 1,344, you were supposed to write it out in Spanish. Okay, and so I think everybody got that. And then the 25 was the one y'all asked me after it got turned in. We had our page in our workbook the other day that we talked about years and talked about how you can say 1,000. It was on page 9. You can say 1,492, but it's talking about years, and we would say 1492. And so that's why on that last one it says 18, so you could put 18, and then 12 is 12. So 1812 would have been the answer for that one. Y'all did good. I was real excited. Everybody get their candy? Did y'all pass it around already? Okay, good. Good job. All right, you can put that away. Don't forget it because you will be quizzed over it again. This week, on Thursday, we're going to be quizzed over clothing. So we're going to be going over that. Hopefully you started studying for it. I gave y'all clothing over a week ago and then said, it's coming up, because there's a lot of words to memorize really quickly. Before we go there, though, I want to pray and then look back to do a little bit of review, and then we'll look at clothing again and talk about tonight's homework. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for today. Thank you for the fun that we can have dressing up for Spirit Week. I pray that you would be with our alumni that will be coming in on Saturday, and that they'll be proud of the school that they came to. I pray our students we have right now one day will come back and enjoy the alumni festivities and enjoy getting to see everybody and the friends that they made. Right now I ask that you'd be with Joshua and his family, help them to get well really soon and get their strength back, that he can be back with us. And thank you for the other students that are here, that you bless their families and just help them to love you more every day. Thank you for answering our prayers. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, look back up in your books to page 10. Page 10. Alright, and these are where all your verbs are listed, and I gave you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more words, so make sure you have those written down. Joshua, I think you were here when I gave those, but lavar, hugar, saltar, enseñar, and coseñar are the ones that aren't on this page. Those are from the last book, but you still need to know them all. Y'all did really good with the verb conjugations, okay? Let's go over to, I'm trying to hit my little thing that makes this full screen for you. Okay, I'll look over this. We're going to review some of your words for clothing. Raise your hand if you've already started memorizing these words. Anybody started memorizing yet? A little bit? I know we've gone over it in class a lot. Some of it makes sense just where it is. But let's review que-es and que son before we move on to clothing. Because we're going to start asking some things about that with clothing. Que-es, and I'll hold up his clothing. Que son, que-es. Or I'll point to myself, say que-es, que-es. And we'll get there in just a minute. But somebody raise your hand and tell me the difference between que-es and que son. When do we use which? Come on, volunteer. Okay, Danielle.
Son is only on more than one thing.
Yeah, so if you have more than one thing, you say que son. When we tell time, we say es la una, if it's 1 o'clock, es la una. But all the rest of the times when you say dos, tres, cuatro, you have to say son las dos, son las tres, son las cuatro. So it's kind of the same thing. Anytime you have more than one of something, you have to use son. Okay? I'll go through here and let y'all answer these. I'm not going to go through this. We've been through it again. What is it? And it talks about interrogative words. All have an accent on them. So make sure when you're writing this, you remember to put your accents on it. Your interrogative words are when, where, how, what, why. So those are some of the words that you can remember. They all have accents. Okay? We already talked about this. When you use son, you also have to say unas or unos, because they all have to agree. More than one thing is going to go plural with your A, watermelons, or they change it to some watermelons, or some chicletes. Okay, so they use unas and unos. Alright, let's just practice this. I know y'all done it before, so you should have it memorized. So if I ask you, Brecken, on this one, que-es. No, when you answer, you say es. You say it is a music. We're going to say, you said it is the music. We're going to say it is a music. I know it doesn't make sense, but that's how they do it. How do you do a in Spanish? We have uno, una, and unas. So if it's just one music, what would you say? Una. So es una música. Say that for me.
Es una música.
Okay. And then it shows it on the next one. Es una música. Okay, Gavin. ¿Qué son?
Son.
Which one of these? Do you remember the word for gum? Chicles. He said, son unos chicles. Right? Okay. Son unos chicles. Hey, Maddie, ¿qué es? Sandía. Okay. Es una sandía. Hey, Scott, ¿qué son?
Son.
Panes. Okay, you gotta make it all plural. Good job. Son unos panes. Okay, that's all review. Let's say our numbers together. It's been a while. I'm just gonna lay these up here, but I do want your eyes to follow along because it's just a good review of how everything's spelled. So let's start with 0. Everybody with me? Ready? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Almost 30. And there's your viente right there, V-I-E-N-T. And then we go to treinta, everybody say treinta, cuarenta. I was trying to remember this one today in my other class, I had to say 50, and I couldn't remember it. Cincuenta. Okay, so let's count by tens. Diez, veinte, treinta, cuarenta, cincuenta. Let's see, keep going. So that was 50, cincuenta, sesenta, setenta, ochenta, noventa, cien. And notice it's just by itself, cien, it doesn't have an O or anything on it, but when you go to one, then it changes to ciento y uno, okay? And then doscientos, trescientos, ochenta, cientos. When you get to 500, it changes to quinientos, that's kind of like 50, I think Scott's the one that caught me on that the other day. Then mil cien, dos mil, cien mil. Y'all been really good with your numbers, so I don't have any doubts that you'll do well on this one. Hey Danielle, how do you say 67? Say a little bit louder for me. 67. Okay, what, Scott, is quinientos? 500, okay. How do you say, reckon 1,200?
Do you say mil or just mil?
They actually just say, they just say mil.
So, mil. Doscientos.
That's correct, good. Okay, Maddie, how do you say, what is this in English? 5,500. 5,500. And how do you say 100,000? Gavin? Cien mil is correct, good. Okay, Danielle, back to you. What is setecientos mil? What's siete?
700,000.
700,000. Well, how do you say 101, Scott? Say it one more time. Ciento y uno. It has to go on. Good job. Reckon, what is 10,022? It's all ran together again. We used to say viente with a Y and dos.
See here. Wait. 10,000. 22.
10,022 is correct. How do you say 80? Ochenta is correct. How do you, what's viente? I know you know this. And we count by tens. Diez, veinte, treinta, cuarenta.
20.
It's 20, yeah. Hey Danielle, how do you say 90? That's right. Okay, and Scott, what is cincuenta?
No, 50.
It is 50. How do you say 70?
Seiscientos.
60. How do you, what is 30 million? 3 million. 30 million. Did you say 30? I said 30. Okay, and how do you say 60, Evan? That's right, sesenta. And back to you, Danielle. What is mil cien? Huh? 100,000. Okay, because the mil is your thousand. So cien mil would be 100,000. Any questions about those? All right. This is where we do other stuff. Okay. Let's review our verbs again. Maddie, what is hablar? To speak or to talk? Okay, Scott, what is cantar? To sing. are so quiet. I know you're not this quiet in the lunchroom. Brecken, how do you say nadar in English?
To swim.
Okay, Danielle, how do you say escuchar?
To listen.
To listen, good. Bailar, and to dance is right. Maddie, estudiar, to study is right. Okay, Scott, comprar, to buy is correct. Brecken, trabajar,
To work.
to work is correct. Caminar, Danielle, to walk is right. You're doing good. Mirar, Gavin, to look or to watch. And back to you, Maddie. What's lavar? To wash. And Scott, jugar?
To play.
What kind of play?
Yeah.
A game, yeah. Okay, and then y'all have, say these with me. Desear, you say it? Desear, again. Desear, and we already know that's desire. Remember the double L is a ya, so llorar, everybody say llorar. Again, one more time. Okay, saludar is same thing as saludos, so it's greetings, everybody saludar. Saludar. Llevar is to wear, everybody say llevar. Llevar. And I almost said that a while ago instead of lavar, you have to make sure you make the difference in how it says. Lavar is to wash, and llevar is to wear. Okay, tocar is to play the instrument, so everybody say tocar. Tocar. Visitar is to visit. Visitar. Visitar. And contestar is to answer. Say contestar. Contestar. There you go. And preparar is to prepare. Say preparar. Preparar. And saltar, where do we leave off? What did you do, saltar? To jump is right. And enseñar, Maddie? To teach. And the last one, Danielle? Cocinar? To cook. Alright, good. All review. Sounds like y'all are doing great. Okay, somebody spell the ending for yo. How do we end our verbs if it's the yo form, Scott? It's just a no. What about to, Brecken? How do we spell the ending? A-S is correct. Nosotros, Maddie? A-M-O-S. And L-A and ustedes, Gavin? Just the A. And Danielle, the ellos, ellas, and ustedes, what ending? A-N is correct, okay? Make sure you get these down really well. It sounds like it's maybe boring right now. We've seen this a million times. But shortly we're moving into what we call ER verbs. And those endings are going to change. So you need to make sure you have the AR down really well. And then y'all just did that. Good job. Okay? Here we are. Let's say it together. Los pantalones. Los pantalones. Okay? And of course that means pants. Let's do el traje. El traje. El traje. So there's a way y'all can cover up your words in your book. Okay. Let's do el traje de baño. El traje de baño. Los pantalones. Los pantalones cortos. Oh, thank you. Los pantalones cortos. Cortas. Okay. El vestido. El vestido. El abrigo. El abrigo. El suéter. El suéter. Make sure when you do this, when you don't do it with a W, just use a U. Los zapatos. Los zapatos. Los calcetines. Los calcetines. La falda. La falda. La corbata. La corbata. Las sandalias. Las sandalias. La camisa. La camisa. La camiseta. La camiseta. La chaqueta. It's supposed to be chaqueta. Just make sure you're not saying a J. I wanna make sure I don't say jaqueta, cause then you think of J-A, but it's chaqueta, C-H-A. Okay, any questions about these? Yes, ma'am.
Isn't it the CH sound?
They don't have a CH sound, it's just a sh in Spanish. They don't really use CH very much. That's the only word I know that starts with a CH. So it's sh. We would say cha. And you probably could say cha, they'd still understand what you're saying. Okay. Alright. The word que, we already know that means the word what, because we say que es, que son, what is it, what are they? To form the questions, using an interrogative word, you follow this pattern. You still, remember when we just had sentences that were questions? We always just started with a verb and then the subject, and then when you answer, you switch it back around and say subject and verb. So it still stays the same as if it's a question, you go verb and subject. But your interrogative word just goes right here before that. So you could say, que habla la muchacha. Que habla la muchacha. We're just saying, what does the girl speak? Okay, so que habla. You still put that first, and then your verb and your subject. Okay? Alright, let's see. Open up your books to page 13 if you're already there. I want to hear y'all read this. I know we finished it in class on Friday before the 3-day weekend. So you should have all the right answers, but I want to hear you say it. And then we're going to close our books and see if you can remember what this clothing is. Okay? Brecken, read number 1 for me.
Me gusta la camiseta.
Okay, number 2, Gavin.
Marcos lleva los pantalones cortos.
Okay, Maddie, number 3. Vestidos. Do we do vestidos? Los vestidos. Okay, and she did good, like we pointed out before. Joshua, you were on camera with us last time. Whenever you have an Ana and Maria, that makes you have 2 things in your subject area, so the verb has to end in an N. Okay, number 4, Scott.
Nosotros llevamos los trajes de baño.
Okay, so we wear swimsuits. And Danielle, number 5. La corbata. Okay. Brecken, do you like to wear sandals?
You're supposed to answer that?
No, you're just translated.
Yeah. It said, te gusta llevar las sandalias?
Yeah. Te gustas, do you like to wear? Okay, number 7, Maddie. Good, you lay on los pantalones. Gavin, they buy skirts.
Yeah.
Las faldas. Good. Scott, she is buying a coat.
Ella compra el abrigo.
Did you say el abrigo? It's supposed to be a coat, so what would that be? Un abrigo. Okay, and Danielle, he wears a jacket. Did you fix it, Scott? Una jaqueta. And then the last one, Maddie? Can't hear.
It's the
Okay, me gusta. And then do you say L after that? You don't have an L there. Me gusta takes care of I like. And then unos suéteres. Okay, remember you use suéter just like you hear it already, and then add es to it. Okay? Alright. I want you to shut your book. Okay, look up here. Anybody remember the name of this right here? Raise your hand. It wasn't on your clothing list, but you may have known it just because you know Spanish. What is a hat? The Spanish person wearing a big
Don't remember. Oh.
Oh, is that
How do you say the hat? El sombrero, okay? Maddie, what's this? I heard the law. Let me come back here and stay with you. Starts with a C. Anybody want to help her out? Scott? What's this called? You don't know? Do you know? Camisa. It wouldn't be camiseta because it's dressier. If it's camiseta, that'd be more like a plain t-shirt with no collar. But this, because it has no collar, it's still fancier, so it still be camisa. Everybody say la camisa? La camisa. Okay, what is this? Anybody know? Have a skirt. Danielle? La falda is correct. Okay, Scott, come up here.
Yes, God.
He's gonna be our model.
Hey, pose on your.
Okay, what's down here? What do you call these?
Which ones?
We'll put this right here.
Yeah.
I got it.
I thought
Los pantalones, I had it. What's this right here?
Yeah.
You know?
That's considered a jacket, right?
Uh-huh.
It's like la chaqueta.
La chaqueta.
Chaqueta.
Okay.
Chaqueta.
And then, what's under, can you unzip it so we can see what's under there? What is that? This one is la camisa. What's that one? Camiseta. Can you pull up the pants leg? What's that up between his pants and his shoes?
Skin.
Huh? No skin showing, it's a sock. How do you say sock in Spanish?
it has a weird name.
Camiseta.
It's like a long
something
one.
like
Oh,
that.
that's camiseta. His
That's
blouse.
like cow something. CAL something something
Oh!
something.
Yeah.
Calcementa.
Calcetas.
It's close enough.
Very good. You
I
got very close.
I knew it was
Los
something like
Calcetas.
that.
Hey, what is his tennis shoes?
Los zapatos. Something
Hey,
like
you got
that.
your accent in the wrong spot. But you got
Zapatos.
zapatos. You're gonna hit
Zapatos.
the O on it. Zapatos.
Zapatos.
Okay. What about
No, stay up there.
Nobody, you
Get-
can sit down,
no,
Scott. Thank you.
Back up there.
Wait.
How do you say coat? A heavy coat.
Is it? Yeah.
You say la?
L.
El abrigo. Okay, y'all got calcetines, you got shoes, you got jacket. What do you call the shoes we wear in the summertime that are open? Do you remember? La sandalias, is that what you said, sandalias? What about what the pastor, our pastor wears on Sundays that hangs right here? What's this called? Okay, la corbata or a tie. What about what he wears over his shoulders? The whole outfit. Anybody remember? It starts with a T, R, A,
Where is it over his shoulder?
J, traje, el suit.
Oh.
El traje. Nobody in here has a sweater on. Maybe raise your hand and tell me what sweater is. Gavin? It's masculine.
L.
El suéter. El suéter. Okay, and in the summertime, you don't wear long pants, but you have them right here. What are those called? Okay, Brendan.
It's los pantalones cortos.
Cortos. Okay, good. Sounds like y'all know lots of your clothing. Make sure you know that for your quiz on Thursday. Remember Thursday, your quiz will have clothing, a few numbers, and some verbs. So you need to make sure you're reviewing all those. Look at page 14 and 15. That's where this comes from that we were talking about here. Page 14 and 15. At the top it says K is the question I was going to say in Spanish. K is the question word, meaning what? To form a question using K, follow this pattern, and we already went over it up here. So you put the upside down question mark, your K with an accent, because it's an interrogative word, then your verb conjugated for your subject, and then your subject. It says to answer this type of question will always be a noun. So look at example 1. Say, ¿Qué compras? You see the AS on the end, so you know that has to be a 2 after it. It's the only thing that has AS. Say, ¿Qué compras? What are you buying? Yo compro, notice you change your subject, it comes first, and your verb. Stay with us, don't be doing your homework. Yo compro una camisa. Okay? I'm buying a shirt. Then look at the next one over here. ¿Qué admiran ustedes? Okay, ustedes is y'all. So you have to end it in an N because that's more than one subject. What are y'all admiring? Doesn't it look kind of like admire? We haven't had that verb, but I think you recognize it. And when you answer that, you say nosotros admiramos, because we change it from ustedes, what are y'all doing? And you answer we are, so nosotros admiramos el barco, and that's the word for boat. Okay, we're admiring the boat. Look at example 2. ¿Qué juega ella? What is she playing? That's a conjugation of jugar. Jugar goes really crazy when you put it in the other tenses. So what is she playing? And it says ella juega al fútbol. She plays soccer. Okay? Note that the verb has to agree with the subject pronoun. Remember that a question asked of to, which is the word you, or usted, which also means you, should be answered with yo. Because if I ask you, what are you wearing, you would say yo llevo. You wouldn't say, use the same verb pronoun. Let's see. Usa los dibujos para contestar las preguntas 50 en español. Use the pictures to answer the following questions in Spanish. Okay, we can work together and write in the book now. So, Brecken, if I ask you, ¿Qué mira él? How would you answer that? Start with your subject, which is what? That's right. And do we need to change the verb? No, because we're using the same subject. So, él mira, and then you have to supply what it is. Él mira el televisión. Okay? El televisión. Alright, Maddie, ¿qué estudias tú? What are you studying? Number 2 means you. So you have to answer how. You're going to change the 2 to what? Yo, and change your verb to estudio is right. Say, yo estudio book. El libro is right. Good. El libro. Okay, Gavin. ¿Qué cantan ellas? Says, what do they sing? Ellas. Stays the same. And you can say music. The music. La música. Okay, good. Alright, Danielle. ¿Qué lleva ella? What is she wearing? Page 15.
Ella lleva
The coat. The coat.
Oh, it's not.
Or you can say a coat. She's wearing un abrigo. You need to flip back. It's masculine. El abrigo. Okay, Scott. ¿Qué toca usted? What are you playing? Or the person in the picture. Do we use usted when we answer?
Yo.
Yo. We gotta change the verb, change the subject.
Toco.
Toco.
Music.
And this time we're gonna say piano. And it's just like it in Spanish, same word exactly. La piano. El piano. El piano, because it's an O. Okay, Brecken. ¿Qué escuchan ustedes? What are y'all listening to?
Nosotros.
Good, nosotros. Change this to nosotros. That's right, escuchamos, and you say the radio. Radio. Say it like Spanish, radio, el radio. Okay, Maddie, ¿qué compra Manuel? Say his name, yeah. Do we need to change the verb? If you use Manuel again, you don't change the verb. So Manuel compra, and then say the tie or a tie. Corbata, la corbata or una corbata. Hey Gavin, ¿qué deseas tú? What do you desire? Or what do you want? Deseo. D-E-S-E-O. You're going to drop the A-S and add an O back on it for yo. An apple. Starts with an M. A-N. Z. So what goes with manzana? La manzana. Okay? Alright, Scott. ¿Qué habla él?
El habla español.
Good. Él habla el español. And remember, Spanish is not capitalized when you write it. They don't capitalize the subjects. Okay, and then yo, ¿qué prepara Carlota? What does she prepare? Prepara. The food. You know how to say the food? La comida. C-O-M-I-D-A. La comida. Okay. Flip over to the next page, 16 and 17. We're not going to do this today, but I do want to just briefly look at it so that you know what's coming up. You need to study for your quiz that's on Thursday, but we will be starting to talk about the questions with K, kind of similar to what you did today. They're going to ask you one thing and answer the other. And then you have to now, this time on the page for homework that we just finished, you already were given the question and you just had to answer it, to me, which is easier. Tomorrow night, they're going to give you the answer and you have to back up and ask the question. And we've done something similar to this in the past. And when you write out your answer, go back and say it to yourself. When you write the question, make sure it makes sense with the answer that they gave you. Okay? That's all I have for today. We're through a little bit early. So we will say bye to Joshua. Bye, Joshua.